Welcome, everybody. This is Darcy Stratton with the XP Realty.
And Alicia Blackwood with Cross Country Mortgage.
And does it sound slow?
We are getting used to the sound here. This is our second podcast, and evidently I don't know how to talk into a mic. So now we have these new contraptions, and there's an echo. It's amazing.
I love
Hopefully
it.
you guys can't hear it.
Hey, guess what I did this morning?
I can't wait. Tell me all about it.
I went shooting.
Oh my God, I'm jealous.
No, I wished you were there.
I've only done it one time.
Okay.
I don't know if I can do the echo.
I don't know if I could do the echo either. Okay, so
start all over.
I really wish you were there because I had the time of my life. So when you first get there, I think you're going to be like me a little bit. It was sensory overload. Like, you know, you hear all boom, boom, and like your insides and you're kind of feeling nervous. And then I was with these girls that were really confident and they showed me, and suddenly it was like super fun. So guess what I did afterwards?
What?
I went and bought a gun.
Oh my God!
I know.
I'm so excited.
I pulled an Alicia. I got a SIG 238.
I have no idea what I own, but I own a gun.
Oh, you do? And mine's cute.
John took me. It's a Glock. That's what I know.
Oh, okay. All right. Does it look like that?
Oh, that's sexy.
I know.
Very sexy.
Yeah, so that was kind of fun. Next time we're going together.
I can't wait. So drag me down there. Did you go to Sacramento, Campfire West? Where were you?
Went out to Lincoln to the outdoor range, learned all the etiquette. Gosh, it was just fun. You know, the first few shots were a little like, okay, all right. And I've shot before, but it's been a while.
Did you feel like you had big balls?
I did. That's what we're going to talk about today is girls wash your balls.
Oh my God.
Yeah, we're going to talk about having cojones as a lady. So, yeah, I did. I felt good. I also shot my grandpa's gun. It was a revolver.
Oh my gosh.
And it had like this long, thing in this little, and it was all shiny. And it was like, boom, and it kind of kicked back, and it was fun. I don't know.
Oh, I love it. I'm jealous.
Together.
Yes, definitely drag me out there.
Okay.
I'm not sure I would exactly know what to do in an emergency. I'm not that together with my gun.
That's what I felt like until today.
Yeah.
We spent 2 hours, just kept reloading and kept doing this. And I'm left-handed, so it's like awkward a little bit, so I had to learn to like get over that awkwardness.
And the reason I wasn't invited.
I know, what the heck? Sorry, girlfriend. But don't worry,
No, I'm just kidding.
You'll be there. You're there next time.
Yes. So we had so much fun last time, and we kind of made the decision we're not just going to cover real estate. We are going to dive into unedited, real life, raw Darcy and Alicia. Okay, so
love it.
Hopefully you all still like us when this is over.
I love it.
Just being real.
Seriously.
So you were talking about one of my favorite books today, and I do want to bring it up. So share with everybody.
The Go-Giver?
No, not The Go-Giver, though I love that one
yeah.
too. Rachel Hollis.
Oh, Rachel Hollis, Girl Wash Your Face.
Okay.
So, yes. Yeah. And you love that book.
I love that book.
Okay.
So if you have not read the book, it is a must read for women. And it really opens up your eyes to facing fears. And that's kind of a theme in my life right now. I'm reading Shine in the Dark, which is another magical book. And it's all about tightrope walking and getting up on the line. I was reading it this morning, and we're in a chapter where it talks about this kid, Nico, and he's up on a 50-foot high tightrope. And for the first time, he's doing it in front of a crowd. And he freaks out, halfway in, takes a wrong step, and he bails. And so immediately some reporter, a jerk, goes ahead and posts about it and is like, bail out, just like his grandpa, and is bashing him. And one of the most amazing things his grandpa brought up is it's easy to talk crap from the sidelines, but it takes courage to jump in and try and
Big
put
courage.
yourself out there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Make mistakes.
Make
Be
mistakes.
okay. Like get uncomfortable, get that feeling inside you.
Absolutely. And, you know, just like doing this podcast, we've only done one. And of course, right away, we had the critics calling us, giving us criticism. This is what you did wrong. And I didn't like this. And, you know, to be honest, it's like I take it with a grain of salt. And it just fires me up to do it again.
Yeah, I love that.
And I'm sure today I'm going to screw up. I'm going to embarrass myself.
I hope you do. I love it when we screw up.
Hey, you're not growing unless you're trying new things, right? And making
true.
yourself uncomfortable. So I am all about being uncomfortable.
I love that. And so that's why I'm going to say, girls, wash your balls. It's my husband.
Yeah. No,
my husband
we
made
were
that up.
discussing. You have one of the biggest set of balls of any other woman I know, and I think that's why we're friends.
Yeah.
We roam and ride, we trick ride, we scare ourselves and do things that not a lot of other girls do, but the fun part is we drag a bunch of our friends with us.
That's so good. They are such willing and fun participants.
Yes, Chrissy, Jessica.
Yeah.
You
Jen.
know, we've got those sidekicks that we drag along. We jump fire.
Patricia.
Yes, yes. And if we could encourage other women to do more of what scares the shit out of you.
Yes.
And I'm just going to cuss
I
a
love
little
that.
because it feels right.
No, today's the day. I'm like, do I need to go over to the grocery store and get some Corona?
And if I wasn't pregnant, I'd
She
be
would partake.
like, let's do it.
I decided it's not as fun to have one by myself. So.
I almost considered it, but you know, I'm already having gas problems.
Yes, she
I
is.
literally
She had to leave the room. I'm like, I don't care. It's okay.
I absolutely cannot fart in front of people. I'm like traumatized. Not to mention that I'm ripping like trumpet blasts.
That's so
okay,
awesome.
so
Maybe they need to hypnotize you, and then you will be able to do it in front of people.
Jesus Christ, what are we saying? Having way too much fun. Okay, I'm sure I'm beat red right now.
No, I love it. That's good. I can see it. You know what you inspired me on last time?
Yes, I'd
The
love to hear it.
Rolex.
Oh, fun.
Because I have this agent that's coming onto my team, and he's got a nice Rolex. He's like, I've had it for 24 years, and it was used. But he's like, it never goes out of style, and it's like an icon on my arm. And then his buddy showed up, and his buddy had one. And then my whole life, I've never been into, like, I don't have that nice of purses. You know, I'm not really into all that stuff. And I respect people that are. It's just not my jam. But then I thought, that is such a symbol.
It is.
For yourself. Like you were saying, like, that is like, I pushed myself for so long. I went out of my comfort zone for so long. I worked so hard. I get this. You know, it's just something to it.
I do want to talk about that because it's a pretty funny story. I earned a $10,000 jewelry allowance from my employer for multiple years in a row. And the first time I'm like, what am I going to do with this? I'm not a big jewelry person. I bought my ex-husband a Rolex, bought myself a couple earrings, and then I was like, okay, I'm done.
Yeah.
I don't want to buy any more jewelry. So I ended up talking them into letting me use it to buy horses. Of course, now I have 8 horses.
Love that.
But at one point I said, okay, I'm going to go out on a ledge here. I'm going to get out of my comfort zone, and I'm going to spoil myself a little. And it was weird for me to buy a watch that cost as much as a car.
Yeah.
And I spent 16 grand on a watch. Okay. Now, the crazy part about the story is I hid it in my safe.
Did you?
And I never wore it.
You're kidding me.
I was
my goodness.
basically ashamed of my watch.
Really?
Okay. That sounds very weird, but I grew up in a family where my dad was really successful. He had a lot of money, but my mom was really poor, and her side of the family was very poor. And I related to them more. I was more comfortable around them, and I mentioned this last time, I always felt like I fit in with the little guy.
Yeah.
So I felt like, you know, the blue collar clients that I work with and friends that I have who I relate to and I understand well, we're going to look at this watch like, look at this bitch and her watch, you know, and some of them make less than that in a year, to be honest with you. And I felt ashamed to wear something on my wrist like that.
I can understand.
I should have given that money to charity, or I should have done something better with that money. Those are the type of negative thoughts that went through my head that honestly are poisonous. They're incorrect. And at some point in time, I don't remember what the significant moment was, but I went, you know what? I am not ashamed any longer. This is something that I earned. I love donating to charity. So it's not like I take the money that I earn and I keep it all to myself and I'm very selfish. No, I donate. I'm generous. And there's nothing wrong with having nice things. So I started to wear my watch and I now never take it off. And the fun part is every time I look down, it represents to me a success, and it allows me or gives me permission to continue to grow and be more successful. And one of my biggest motivators is the more successful I am, the more I can give away to charity.
I love that.
And so now I use that watch in my head to represent that. Hey, this is a symbol of how generous you get to be by grinding harder and making more money and being more successful. It's no longer something I feel I need to be ashamed of.
Good.
I know that sounds super weird.
No,
but
I get that though. I get that. I used to always say this scenario to my husband. Okay, so if you were handed a Honda Accord, top of the line, and a Mercedes, top of the line, which one would you choose?
Honda Accord.
Me too. And my husband's like, why? I'm like, first of all, I don't want to drive a Mercedes. I just don't want it. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just not my jam. And a Honda Accord's super practical. I think they're great little cars. They'll last forever. It's just my jam. But we still to this day are all, he's like, why wouldn't you take the top of the line Mercedes? Like, I just don't want that.
Now, I know you also grew up in an area and you were surrounded by people who on average made less than $100,000, let's say.
Absolutely. Yes,
right?
Way less, yeah.
And I think it builds a better character person to experience both lives, to have exposure to people who are poor and exposure to people who are rich. Because then you have a choice.
Yes.
Right? And for the longest time, I thought that retiring on $65,000, because that was my aunt, you know, she drove for FedEx, and I was like, wow, she did a great job.
Yeah.
She's retiring. She makes $65,000. This is great money. Well, later in life, I realized there's so much more out there, and you don't have to settle for that. And she struggles. To be honest, in her retirement, she's struggling, and I am not going to be that person.
Yeah. No, I get that. I know my son said he wants to be a garbage man when he grows up. I do love that, you know, but you want to have options, you know, not feel confined. I think a lot of people feel confined. And I think if we can help maybe like let them know that there's more out there, I think that's a huge thing.
The truth is, we limit ourselves.
Yes.
And a lot of times it's just from what we're exposed to or what we see.
Yes. And we don't realize there's more.
We don't realize we're and the thing is I learned the most from my dad. My dad's Victor Conti. I absolutely adore this man. He showed me that anything is possible. He's having his best years ever in his business and financially, and he's like in his 70s, okay? And he's rocking and rolling. He says, if it's not fun, don't do it. And that's his motto.
I love that. Can we borrow that?
Can we borrow that? Yeah. Well, he's the one who taught me thoughts become things. I am like hypersensitive and paranoid of negative thinking.
Me too.
Oh, it's a pollution.
I'm the same way.
And once I realized thoughts become things and what you think about, you bring about, oh my God, I like literally will get poisonous thoughts and I'm like, get out of my head. Oh my God. And I try to fill them as quick as I can with something positive.
Me too. I show you this motivation app I have on my phone. It's super cool. So like throughout the day, it's all bling. Darcy, don't compare your life to others. There's no comparison between the sun and the moon. They shine when it's their time. Like, it lets you know. And then you're like, oh, I don't like that one. And then you go swipe left. All right. And then it gives you another. But little things like that. If you're feeling like down or negative, just look at some motivational quotes.
Yes.
It'll just immediately like trigger something in your brain. And I'll like go grit quotes or hustle quotes.
Yes.
Or, touch your heart quotes, just anything. Just to
I love to Google that stuff.
See?
Yes.
I love it.
Well, they say comparison is the thief of joy.
I like to be in my own lane. You do too.
Absolutely.
I'm always been big on that, just even from being an athlete. I remember I was like 8 years old and I was competing in the nation, and I got 8th place in the nation, right, out of like 300 people, which is good, pretty good.
Really
top
amazing.
10, top 10. I was mad because the ribbon was brown. Like, literally crying, mad because the ribbon was brown. My mom's like, it doesn't matter. I'm like, oh, I wish I hadn't gotten 8th. I wish I would have gotten 9th because the ribbon was brown. But it's like, all I care about is just trying to stay in, like, my own. It's like, it didn't matter that I'm beating all these other people. I'm like, Mom's like, come on, you did good. You did good. I'm like, no, I want to have the pretty ribbon in my room.
This is the funniest thing I've ever heard.
I have a picture. I had tears, and my mom's taking a picture of me, and my eyes were all red. I'd been crying because of my brown ribbon.
That's amazing. You are Miss Positivity. So that's hard for me to believe that you weren't coming up with why the brown was amazing. Okay.
I should have. I think I did eventually. I was like, wait a minute. I can't. I pulled myself around.
Well, the truth is, recently, we have a friend, Lisa, who was asking whether I'm ever upset or negative and it made me laugh. And my fiance, John's like, are you kidding? Do you not know her? And that's partly because I am my worst critic. And I think the reason I project out or portray such a positive image is I'm always talking to myself. I'm trying to combat the negative thinking that'll run through my head on a daily basis. And I'm extremely critical to myself. So I constantly have to reignite positivity and excitement throughout the day to remind myself that I am enough and it is okay.
It's hard. I just did that body mass index thing at Raw Fit.
Oh, yeah.
I was telling you. And he's like, oh, that's pretty good what your BMI is. And I'm like, well, it's not that good. He's like, no, it's you did good, And I'm like, no. I was like, just immediately went negative towards myself, which is, I don't like that. Like, for a minute, I should have been like, good job, Darcy. You're 41. Like, good job.
It's human nature, honey.
Right to the, nope, that's not good enough. No. I'm like, what do I need to do? He's all 130 grams of protein a day. I'm like, oh, how do you do that?
Yeah. It's a lot of protein. Okay. Yeah. You look amazing, so don't
thanks,
be so hard on yourself.
I'm sweating.
So, you're always sweating.
Remember last time we were in here, you had a blanket?
Oh my God. Yeah, today I'm sweating too. So I guess we should talk about some real estate.
I think we should. I got to tell you, like, this lack of inventory is a real get you downer.
I had a client yesterday that's like, I want to sell my house next year. And I'm like, I will literally pay you to sell your house.
Seriously.
We need houses.
We need houses bad. And people are just losing out left and right. I mean, you have to literally sell your firstborn to get a home.
Yeah. It's so competitive. Very competitive.
And you see a house go for $100,000 over asking. You're like, oh, is that all it went for? And that is crazy, right? I mean, that's crazy. And we're getting the appraisals. We're getting the value.
Yeah, because everyone's paying over.
Yeah.
It's that competitive.
Yeah.
So if you want top dollar for your property, now is definitely the time to sell. And if you want the best agent in Placer, Sacramento area, how do they reach you, Darcy?
Oh, thanks, girlfriend. 916-402-5188.
You're amazing. I've worked with you many times, and you're extremely competitive. As far as liking to win, Darcy likes to win. Okay, she will do whatever it takes. But it's pretty simple right now. People think they have to do a bunch of home improvements and get their home all ready. Not the case.
Yeah. No, I mean, we just got to make it shine nicely, but things are selling. We're not even hitting the market, and they're selling.
Yeah.
We just closed one yesterday.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah. And you did great. That was a VA buyer. quick and easy, bada bing, bada boom. I mean, you did an amazing job. And we love VA buyers. Like, that's our jam.
VA buyers.
That's our jam.
So absolutely no processing and underwriting fees with us. So
Wow.
we waive that for all veterans, active military or past veterans. We waive that. So it's $1,590 savings.
Wow.
Yeah, which is really exciting. Well, my fiance is a veteran, 14-year Army vet.
So
and when
cool.
he started working with me, he goes, I'm so sick of everybody out there pretending
Yes.
to give the veterans a deal. And he's like, this is what we're doing from now on. I'm like, you're the boss.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
That's real and from the heart.
You and I have always related with service-oriented industries, first responders, and I think it's just because we have a heart to serve,
Yes.
and we love the community. I love those out there that give themselves to take care of other people.
Yeah.
By no means are they financially compensated well enough,
No.
not even close, not for what they sacrifice.
I agree. Even teachers. Like, I'm feeling so passionate about teachers. I cannot handle, every time I see one, first of all, I want to hug them. But I just wish that they were given more.
Yeah.
Financially. I wish that the profession was held at a higher, financial standard for them, because they have to go through a lot of schooling. It's at least 5 years. And then if you want to get paid a little bit more, you can get your master's. But I wish they'd get paid more. Like, why? Why do they not?
I don't know. It's very sad. And
I
then
know.
with the recent times and COVID and them doing everything can to keep kids engaged.
Yes.
Mrs. Howler, I'm going to give her a shout out. She's at Placer Elementary. She teaches kindergarten. She is a badass.
Oh, my
Plain and
goodness.
simple.
Yeah.
I love her. And I used to volunteer when my first daughter, Kayla, was in her class. And I remember sitting there in awe, like, she is like the Pied Piper. And they're following everything she's doing. And I'm like, I could barely contain my children at home.
They're magical. I'm like,
She
can
has
you
a
teach
whole
us classes?
classroom of kids. Yeah.
They need to teach us.
No, but seriously. And then Shelby's now in kindergarten, and she's teaching kindergartners on the internet over
Yes.
Zoom, and she's singing, and Shelby's engaged, and she's following along, and it's the cutest freaking thing
know.
I've ever seen.
Our kindergarten teacher, my son Dane's at Penryn School, she's like, hello, workers. Hello, readers. And he'll go, she knows I'm a reader because she told me today, because she called me one. I'm like, she's brilliant. She implants what she wants from them, right? Hi, writers, right? So now it's like, oh, I'm a writer. I'm a reader. They feel all confident.
Oh, I love it.
And she's also doing forest school. Did I tell you that?
No, tell me about it.
Okay, so in Germany, they do, for preschool and kindergarten, all the kids learn outside. And there's a whole technique to it, but right now we can't have blocks or Legos or cars in the classroom for kindergartners at all. They have nothing they can play with.
Oh, no.
So it's really hard for them. So she has this huge creek area and this whole kind of field with oak trees, and we are having a stage built for her, and then she's got a bunch of logs, and they bring their boots every day, and they bring their raincoats, rain or shine. They have forest school outside.
I love
Isn't that cool? I know.
Anything outside is better.
I know.
Okay, I'm a total outside person. I would prefer not to have to be confined within walls. So this sounds magical.
I think so, too.
It just feels better to be more one with the earth.
I know. You're kind of giving me an idea, because we might be able to implement that for the whole school, where you can get some grants and start making it for every grade, because it's a big area. So,
It's exciting.
Oh, no.
So I know we promised our listeners that we were going to talk a little bit about self-employment.
Yes.
And just watching the clock, I know we want to keep it under 30
Yeah.
so everybody can listen to this while they're on the way to work or driving around town. So I'm going to just bust out some exciting news. So for those of you that have been self-employed for the last few years, and you've tried to get a mortgage this year, you may have hit some roadblocks, because a lot of clients during COVID, it did impact their business. We were all told to stay inside, shut your doors down, and basically hermit.
Yeah.
And it did make a little bit of a difference in the income. Okay. So now that your standard Fannie Mae guidelines are watching your income like a hawk and paying attention to any dip down that you might have had, a lot of people have gotten denied. Well, they've recently opened it back up, and they're offering loan programs with as low as a 660 credit score, where you can borrow up to $3 million.
Wow.
And only need to put about 20% down. The coolest part about it is if you're a 1099, they will go off of your 1099 income.
Wow.
Yeah. So they won't take into consideration all your deductions that you're taking on your tax returns. And they'll go directly off the average of your 1099.
Wow, that's awesome.
So it's going to allow people out there to get more house. So please sell your house and buy a bigger one.
Yay! Yes, please do. Well, with interest rates so low, I mean...
We're still in the twos on every single program. Let's be crystal clear. VA, FHA, conventional in the twos. So to give you guys an idea of another option, because maybe you don't get a 1099, maybe you own a hair salon, right?
So what happens there?
You can use your bank statements only.
Oh.
Yeah. Take a 12-month or 24-month average at a 660 credit score. Now, again, that's only 20% down.
Wow.
So if you've got equity in your current home, sell your home.
Yeah. Love it.
Please.
Girls, sell your home.
Girls, sell your home. And so the last scenario I want to give you, it's even a better twist. Let's just say you don't even work, okay?
Oh, goodness.
But you're in the Bay Area.
Okay.
You're sitting on a ton of equity.
You got a mill.
You got a mill. You could be right up here in the Sacramento area, but your home's paid off, let's say, right? But you want to upgrade. You want to buy something else. And the minute you sell, you're going to be sitting on a ton of cash. You can now get mortgages solely off your liquid assets.
You're kidding me.
Yes. No income required. How about it?
Do you remember when they used to do those no income?
Ninas,
no
we were
assets.
just talking about that. No income, no asset. So it's not quite like that.
Okay.
We do make you prove your assets.
Good. Thank goodness.
But as long as you've got a ton of savings, you can buy now.
And you got good credit.
No, 660. What? Mediocre credit.
Wow.
It's pretty magical.
Okay, there's no excuses. Everyone should be buying.
Everyone needs to buy.
We're doing 100% financing right now, USDA. I mean, you don't have to have tons of money.
You do not.
No.
You can literally buy a house with under $2,000 out of pocket.
Yeah, and we have clients that are like, we need to stay, under $2,200. You can do that. You could totally do that.
Absolutely, you can do that. So I know today we've been a little bit crazy, a little off topic, but hopefully that real estate nugget can get your dreams a-flowing. If you ever need to get a hold of me with your mortgage needs, you can reach me at 916-256-6486. Text or call me anytime. These are your real estate cowgirls. We out.
I love it. Thoughts become things.
Thoughts
I love
become
it.
things.
Have a good day. Thanks for listening.
Bye-bye.
Yay, 27 minutes.
Did we end it?
Dude,
It's
we
still
talked
recording.
about... No. Oh, shit.
I can cut it.
Shit.